What is a chief of staff, and why would small, medium enterprise business owners care who a chief of staff is? Luckily, we've got someone who knows this inside and out. Francesca Robles is an experienced chief of staff, and she's with us today. Francesca, thanks for being here. Let me ask, do you find there's still a lot of confusion around the value of a chief of staff for a growing business?
Hi, Toby. Excited to talk with you today about the Chief of Staff role. And to answer your question, yes, it is a great one. And my response to that would be that there is a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about the role, the purpose, and the goal of a Chief of Staff and the value they can bring to any sized organization. What I have seen and continue to hear from my friends and colleagues across the globe in a variety of different industries and business sizes is that it's often becoming a catch-all. Businesses are trying to solve a lot of problems with one role instead of really asking themselves, what is the problem we are trying to solve? What are my business needs? And I believe that's going to be the first step for any executive to really identify what their needs are, what their needs of the business are and of their teams, and how they can get a chief of staff to align to those things that they've identified. And once those needs are clear, this is where the chief of staff can really shape what that looks like with their principal. And they show themselves to be the executive's strategic thought partner. There's a lot of trust and rapport that is built, not just with the principal, but with the leadership team as a whole. And they are there to help maximize the executive's time, create efficiencies. And my favorite part is building the culture. And even more than that, they are ensuring alignment across all the departments and teams. So when it comes to scaling your business, the chief of staff really does become that crucial part of your leadership team, driving both the operational part of the business while trying to excel your strategic outcomes. So having a chief of staff is a huge value add for any leader, especially in a small and fast-growing business, because we're the ones who have our ear and feet on the ground. We know what is going on day in and day out in any business.
Wow, thanks. There's so much going on there that you guys take care of that I didn't even, appreciate prior. That clarity really helps. I wasn't even aware of how vital really the chief of staff would be in a business, especially an early stage business that may not have a full C-suite, but has a CEO or a founder who needs someone to take care of the organizational flow and how efficient it is in making things get accomplished and taking that weight off of their shoulders and allowing them to elevate out of the business. Francesca, can you give us an example from your experience of the impact you've had within an organization as a chief of staff?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I started my career out as an administrative support and grew into an EA. About 7 years ago, I worked with a dream team. I supported 3 executives who literally trusted me with everything from day one. And that really set the tone and the bar for how we executed everything every day. Calendar conflict, gone. I took care of it. Travel, international, national, we needed to go to conferences, whatever, done. Took care of it. There's a project delayed. I was working with whoever was the individual responsible for it. I'm putting together the details, getting a briefing, setting up meetings to understand what was going on and ensure that there are no communication silos there that would deter any team from adding valuable contribution or even helping something that's bottlenecked get out of the way. We needed ideas, or we are delayed on something. We set up a meeting. We were talking about it. We were creating a plan. They were asking me a lot of questions, but I also asked them a lot of questions. And I think that was important in how we worked together and kind of played off each other in the way that we all were thinking, because we were all thinking different things about different parts of the business. And I think one of the other things that I learned and have continued to really grow in as the chief of staff is, after you wrap up these hour-long meetings, board meetings, investor meetings, everyone has a lot of notes, and coming together to ensure you're all on the same page, you've got all the action items, you're ready to go, and your chief of staff can go build out milestones, projects, and timelines, and really set a cadence for how we're going to successfully achieve what needs to get done. So the overall summation of this is that, when you're working with leaders who trust you, who are communicative, who can embrace change, are there to listen, learn, and pivot open and honestly in their communications, you can move mountains with the leaders and with teams. And that's something that I've continued to do with those leaders today, even though we're not working together. But because of those three individuals, I have been a chief of staff ever since.
Wow, that's amazing. And good on them for recognizing that, as an EA, you were doing significantly more, wearing more hats, providing more value than, what the job description would have said for an EA. And to be honest, I've seen this happen in many organizations in the past where an EA has become such a valuable part of the leadership team that people recognize. Now, titles are just titles, but they end up making them the chief operating officer, or they end up with some other title. But chief of staff really seems to hone in on that expertise and that vital position that a C-suite, an owner, a founder really needs to help that internal logistics of the company, not external, but internal logistics of the company, to make sure efficiencies are there, to make sure communication is open and clear, to make sure there's no log jams. So that was a really excellent example to help us appreciate that.
One of the things that I'll add to that is I've seen chiefs of staff grow, just like you've mentioned, to becoming a COO, to becoming a chief financial officer, because of the variety of different backgrounds that any chief of staff comes from. And there's no one path to becoming a chief of staff, and there's no one path for what comes after. But I think, going back to what I'd mentioned earlier about really identifying the needs of you, the executive, of your organization, and of your team, you can really partner with your chief of staff to build out what that growth looks like. If you don't have all of those chief executive officers on your team at the moment, and you're looking to hire them, your chief of staff can really build the foundation and create a hiring plan for what that looks like, and really be their onboarding partner to get them acclimated to the rhythm of business, and what things are coming, how the board operates, how your town halls are going to come, and what the roles and responsibilities are. So they can really make a pivotal difference in your leadership team.
Yeah, again, thanks for providing the clarity and helping us appreciate the value that a chief of staff can bring to an organization, Francesca. It's really opened my eyes, and I see the really critical link twofold, in that if you have a small C-suite, or you are just a senior leader with no C-suite, and you need to make sure the communication and operational efficiencies are there, a chief of staff can come in early stage in a company and cost effectively help the business to accelerate, grow, and elevate. But then on the other hand too, as you have a mature senior executive team, there's often log jams and inefficiencies within the communication of the leadership team. And so again, the chief of staff in both places can come in and have a significant impact to helping solve the company's problems. I guess a fixer of sorts, right? To help solve any problems that come up for anyone within the C-suite, they turn to the chief of staff and go, hey, I don't know, how to do this, or I've been sending emails to this other leader for a while and I'm not getting a response, but it's log jamming my division. And how do we overcome these silos? How do we break down these silos and how do we move forward? So I really appreciate you kind of informing us on that and helping us understand the key role in the company's success that the chief of staff makes.
Oh, great. Well, I'm happy to help and provide that insight on how the chief of staff can really make an impact to any organization and the leaders who are running it.
Thanks again, Francesca. And to all of our followers out there, anyone that would like to learn more about fractional resources, such as a chief of staff, please reach out. We would love to talk to you.